Hey, this is Mike Barnes, the financial first responder. Hey, got a question for you. Have you ever thought about the relationships that you have is directly or could directly affect your finances? What do I mean by that? Well, Mr. Financial First Responder, I'm glad you asked. So for the next few minutes, I'm going to tell you a story. And I think you're going to like this story. So remember I told you yesterday that my parents had been married for 51 years. And my father started out from humble beginnings. And he actually worked in a fast food restaurant in a little town called Kingston, North Carolina. Now, you got to know a little bit about my family. My grandfather was a minister, and so he pastored a church in Fountain, North Carolina, St. James Christian Church. Now, I'm going to get to the point of where I'm going with this in a second. And my mom had went off to college and became a teacher and started working in Kingston, North Carolina. I'm kind of speeding up a little bit because I got to get to the gym. And my dad was the manager, and my mom had this favorite drink. She always wanted 7-Up with no ice. And so one day, to get a date with her, to build a relationship with her over time, because they had been knowing each other since childhood, but did separate paths, right? He gave her a rose and gave her a favorite drink and asked her out. Now, I'm saying all that to say that this topic I'm about to share with you has a lot to do with your finances. You see, in Ecclesiastes, I'm in that book, the basic instructions before leaving earth. In Ecclesiastes, it says, the value of a friend. Now, some of you probably haven't heard these words in a while, and some of you may have never read those words. So I'm going to read them to you. It says, 2 are better than 1 because they have a good reward for their labor. For if they fall, one will lift up his companion. But woe to him who is alone when he falls, for he has no one to help him up. Again, if 2 lie down together, they will keep warm. But how can one be warm alone? And in the last verse, it says, though one may be overpowered by another, 2 can withstand him, and a threefold cord is not quickly broken. Now, for some of you who are married, you understand that as God, yourself, and your spouse. Some of you have friends that you've had for years, and some have had acquaintances. Now, in finance, and I told you I was going to get there with you, the people that you hang around tend to predict your finances. You see, you're saying, wait a minute, financial first responder, what are you talking about? I'm going to tell you like this. If you are around people like said shopaholics, what do you tend to do as long as you stay around them? You become shopaholics. If you're a people who are very health conscious and you're in the gym and you're drinking your protein drinks and your smoothies and your supplements and things of that nature, and your friends do the same thing, you're probably doing that too. If you're a person who maybe a part of an organization, a fraternity, a sorority, a public club, maybe the Rotary Club, maybe the DAV or the VFW, which I'm a member of both. You tend to be around those people. If you tend to be broke, guess what you tend to do? Be around broke people. I told you I was going somewhere with this, right? So I'm using this scripture to kind of tell you that, when we're picking a mate, a spouse, are we picking them based off of how successful they could be? Or are we picking it off of just the way they make us feel? Are we picking it off of how we communicate and operate when we're around them? You see, your finances are the same way. If you don't have a relationship with your finances, remember we said money was like a tool yesterday? And we talked about glasses being a tool, and we talked about a pen being a writing tool, and we talked about journaling, and we talked about accountability to some extent. Your relationships have a direct proportion to how well you will be financially. Now, for some of you, you may say, I call that cow manure. There we go. We'll use a good word, because I never know, parents may be showing this to their children. Some of you might say, I can see that. I can see that. Depending on the 5 people that you are hanging around, not including your family, your friends, your associates, your co-workers, your business partners, that determines how you will turn out financially. Now, you may not believe that, but it is true. I will tell you this, and I want you to think about this. I saw a post about Jay-Z, and they were saying he was a part of a walking club. But when the person did a deeper dive into the walking club he was in, it was other billionaires. I.e., he wasn't walking with broke people. Some of you have gone through your life around people who are struggling because they choose to struggle. They don't manage their money. They don't look at the amount of time they spend watching useless stuff, reality TV. They don't look at, are they reducing their debt with good debt? And why I'm on this point, there is a such thing as good debt. It is debt that is tied to a asset, not a liability. And anything can be a liability if used wrong. Remember, money is a tool, right? So, as an example, let's say you go out and buy a duplex. And that, for those people who are not familiar with a duplex, that means 2 residents. Triplex is 3. A quad or quadruplex would be 4. And anything over 4 is considered commercial. So let's say that you went out and bought a duplex. You lived in one side while you were straight out of college. And maybe a year or 2, you moved to another duplex, maybe a bigger one, or maybe you bought a triplex. Now you have the duplex and the triplex. Now I'm going somewhere with this. And then in another year, you move and you buy a quad. So I want you to think about this. You didn't live in a single family home. You bought a duplex. That's 2. Then you bought a triplex. That's 3. You have 5 residents or 5 rental properties. And then you go buy a quad. You're now at 9. So 5 and 9 means you are currently at 14 properties. Now, if 14 properties averaged you, as an example, after everything, all rents were paid, let's say that you averaged about, we'll go on the low end, let's say $500 a piece. Well, we know that $500 times 10 is $5,000. Now we do another 4 is another $2,000. So $7,000 a month that you don't work for. I'm going somewhere with this. But because you're in the wrong relationships, you decide to go rent an apartment building and you stay there for 4 or 5 years when your friend decided to be an investor. And because you chose not to associate yourself with said friends, they became multimillionaires and you stayed broke. Relationships. I can tell you, I have relationships with people who own massive commercial buildings. I actually know a crypto millionaire who bought two apartment buildings with crypto. I am aware that a lot of you don't have those type of relationships because you choose not to have those type of relationships. You're hanging around the wrong people. Have you ever noticed that some of our superstars, our entertainers, they always want to go back and help their friends that didn't get out? And then later on in life, because they kept that association with those friends and didn't expand their network, those friends couldn't cover him or her. And what tends on happening? They make all this money, they give it all out to their friends, and then they're broke because they didn't expand on their friendships. Friendship is truly essential to the soul. I will say it like this. Some of you need to look and evaluate your financial friendships. If you are turning it up in your 20s and you still turning it up in your 30s, and then when you get in your 40s, you turning it up, odds are you are broke. I told you that I was a mentor, coach to my children now. I talk to them about acquiring assets and wealth. They've seen me do it. I talk to them about saving money. They've seen me do it. They've seen their mother do it. We talk to them about what it was like to be broke, not being able to pay our bills when we were younger, lights being turned off, water bill, having to chase it so you could pay your water bill because you weren't managing your money when you were younger. You were too busy turning it up, forgetting about your bills. We talked about not having the best credit when we were younger because we weren't taught it, or we weren't around the people who were concerned with it. See, clearly your relationships, and I'll go back to the scripture in a second, your relationships tie into your money. So, with that said, let's look at this for a second. We talked about financial relationships. We talked about tying into your friendships. I can tell you right now, my daughter, the way she thinks, she has a lot of successful friends. She is herself successful. My sons are becoming that way because they're still in school, but she's out of school. She got her master's early because she listened to her mother and I. What I'm saying to you is that depending on who you hang around, that's good or bad, is how your life will turn out. You may be a member of a car club. You may be a member of a bowling team. You may be a member of a golf club. You may be a member of a shooting club. Shooting meaning weapons. You may be a volunteer to a Boy Scout troop. You may be a volunteer coach. You may be a philanthropist. But I can tell you one thing I do know. Those organizations and clubs you're involved with, they tend to have other people that are like you. Some of you are part of a book club. Maybe back in the day you were part of Oprah's book club, virtually, or maybe physically. But those friendships changed the way you thought. It changed the way you use money. It changed the way you saw life. Maybe you're a member of a church, a synagogue, a mosque, or some holy place. And you go there for comfort and for meaning. Maybe you are a member of the military, law enforcement. We always talk about the mission, the team. We're always talking about getting better, doing more, having more, being more. You see, what I'm saying to you in essence is your relationships are tied to your success. We wonder why so many people who go to prison, when they get out, they can't do anything else but go back to prison. Not all of them, but some of them. It's because of their environment. You see, there is a distinct idea that if you don't want someone to know something, put it in a book. It's not based off race. It's based off the likelihood that you won't read. If you're not reading every day, something above a 3rd grade level, an 8th grade level, you're not getting better over time. You are what we call a stagnant individual. And you tend to hang around stagnant people. And what do we know about stagnant water? It's infested with mosquitoes. It stinks. And it's not pleasant to be around. Don't be that person. You should start living your life with abundance. You should be growing every day through abundance. That starts with your friendships. I told you that I will serve 1 million law enforcement officers and service-connected disabled veterans by helping them with their finances, utilizing the financial positioning system, better known as FPS for me, and my Mission CEO coaching program no later than June 26th on the 28th day. And I am determined that I'm going to do that. And what that means is I need to be around other people who listen to this channel, other organizations that I can help find ways to build their legacy and create peace and something for their family's future. So, with that said, I got to go to the gym because health is the new wealth, in case y'all haven't figured it out. When you look good, you feel good, you smell good, and everything's working right, you can think good. So, I will leave you with this one story, this last story. And I thought about it when my daughter graduated from high school. The whole time she was in high school, Daddy, everybody else is their parents are their friends. And when she graduated high school and she became an adult, I said, now I can be your friend. Prior to you graduating school, you were my child. And as such, I had to train you and treat you as my child. But when you became adult, I had to mentor and coach you as an adult. Still my child, but as an adult. And we laugh about that comment that I made back in the day. But I was adamant that my children, until they're grown, are my child and my responsibility. I want you to think about something for a second. While your finances or whatever level they're at, are you a mentor coach? Are you being a parent? Or are you being an adolescent with your money? You see, adolescents or a child, you don't know how to properly use your money. When you become a mentor coach or you become a parent, you decide how that money should operate and what it should do, and you discipline it. You see, you may think I'm crazy with what I'm saying right now, but the financial first responder will tell you this. If you don't put your money in the right place, and I'm not talking about financial industries or instruments, meaning you don't have control of it. You don't monitor it. You're not looking at it on a daily basis. You're not telling it where to go and what to do and how much money it should earn you back. If you're not doing that, you are failing not only yourself, you're failing your family. Don't be a failure. Remember, your friendships, the value of your friendships extends to all of your resources, every last bit of them. Look, this is Mike Barnes, the financial first responder. Please like and subscribe my channel. Click the link below, DM me and say, hey, I was watching you today and I like that message, the value of a friend. Because when you think about it, it said that the two of you were better than one. You and your money will be better if you work together. And then it said that one will lift the other one up. Sometimes when you get older in life and you can't work, your money is going to be the one that's supporting you. You might think it's your children or your wife or your husband. It's going to be the money that gives them the support to be able to take care of you. And then we know that when you lie down with your money, and I'm not talking about putting it in a mattress either, people. When you lie down with your money and you have a security blanket of sort because of what you've done, you stay warm. I want you to think about that. Money buys you a coat, buys you shelter, food. But without money, you become destitute. And then lastly, I will say this. If you don't have a supreme being, i.e. God, giving you wisdom, knowledge, and understanding about your money, regardless of your faith. In other words, God gives us the ability to control our kingdom in his kingdom. But if he is not first in your life, then your money is your God. I'm just going to say it like that. You take it either way you want. Seek first the kingdom of God, and everything else will be given unto you. I wish you a great day. God bless. This is Mike Barnes, the financial first responder. I'm going to the gym, and I'll see you on the beaches of the world.